AITAH for blocking my family for lying about my wedding. My name is Annalise, and I'm 30 years old. In just a few days, I'll be marrying my fiancée, Denver. It's supposed to be the happiest moment of my life, the day where everything finally feels like it falls into place. But instead, there's this heavy, sinking ache in my chest that won't go away. It follows me everywhere, when I'm trying to focus on wedding details, when I'm lying awake at night, even when Denver is holding my hand and promising me that everything will be okay. Denver's family has been incredible from the very beginning. His mom is flying in from another country, and his sister calls almost every single day to check on me, to help me with last-minute planning, to make sure I don't feel overwhelmed. His dad even sent a heartfelt message, apologizing that he couldn't travel because of work obligations, but promising to join via video call. They barely knew me a few years ago, yet they've shown me nothing but love and support. My family, on the other hand, has done the opposite. Every RSVP I've received from my side has been some variation of "sorry, we can't make it." At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe the timing was bad, maybe travel was too difficult for them. But the excuses quickly piled up, and now there's no way to deny it. Not a single person from my side will be at my wedding. I don't have parents anymore. My mom died when I was very young. My dad, well, he was physically alive for a while, but emotionally absent for most of my childhood. Even when he was around, he wasn't really there. He had his own struggles and demons, and I was never his priority. My childhood was chaos. I bounced between relatives' homes like an unwanted package no one wanted to sign for. Everyone always seemed burdened by my presence. Eventually, I was placed in foster care because none of my extended family wanted to take me in permanently. I still remember packing my tiny bag when I was 12, listening to my Uncle Hudson quietly telling my grandmother that this isn't our responsibility. It felt like my whole world crumbled right then. Despite that heartbreak, I clung to this tiny, foolish hope that maybe one day they'd realize they did want me. Maybe they'd apologize or try to make amends. So even as an adult, I kept in touch, sending holiday cards, texts, even visiting my hometown on Christmas some years. Most of those visits ended with me standing awkwardly in someone's living room while they made excuses to leave or keep the interaction short. When Denver and I got engaged, I decided to try one last time. I reached out to the only blood relatives I've had minimal contact with over the years: my grandmother, my Uncle Hudson and his wife Kiss, and my cousin Avery Kate. I wasn't expecting tears of joy or a big reunion, but I thought, just maybe, they'd show up for me on the most important day of my life. One by one, they all declined. Hudson was the first to respond. He sent a text saying his back injury was acting up and he couldn't handle the travel. I told myself to be understanding. Back injuries can be awful, right? Maybe it was genuine. Then Avery Kate texted me a short, cold message. "Sorry, I won't be able to make it." No explanation, no warmth, nothing. I stared at that text for 10 minutes, hoping a follow-up would come. It never did. Finally, my grandmother replied. I had been holding out the most hope for her. She texted me saying she couldn't come because Hudson's injury needed her attention. That's when my heart cracked. Hudson is a grown man. He has a wife, Cuss, and 2 adult children. He is perfectly capable of hiring help if needed. Why would her presence be so critical that she couldn't come to my wedding? It felt like such a flimsy excuse, like she just didn't want to be there and couldn't even bother to come up with something convincing. Denver's mom, meanwhile, is flying thousands of miles to attend. A woman who isn't even blood related to me is showing up, while my own family can't be bothered to drive a few hours. It's like a cruel joke. I keep replaying it in my head, wondering what I did wrong. Did I not try hard enough to keep those relationships alive? Was there some unforgivable thing I did as a kid without realizing it? I've been a mess these past few weeks. Angry one moment, crushed the next, and then immediately guilty for feeling angry. I keep asking myself if I'm being unfair, if I'm expecting too much from people who never truly wanted me in the first place. Denver has been my rock through it all. He keeps reminding me, we can create our own family now. The people who love you will show up, and the rest don't deserve your energy. I want to believe him, but there's this deep grief in me, like I'm mourning a family I never really had. The worst part is, Denver has seen this play out with his own eyes. He's witnessed me texting my grandmother, trying to confirm if she'll come. He's seen my face light up when I hear my phone buzz, only to watch it fall when I realize it's not her or anyone from my side. He's also seen my breakdowns, like last week, when I finally snapped and cried. Why don't they care about me? Why am I never enough for them? Denver held me and said, Annalise, it's not you. It's them. You've been more than enough your whole life. They just couldn't see it. But part of me still wonders if he's just saying that to make me feel better. 2 days ago, I reached out again, not to invite them, but to just talk. I called Hudson, and he actually answered this time. The conversation was awful. Hudson, I started carefully. I need to ask, is there another reason you can't come to the wedding? I just need to know. There was a long pause before he said, Annalise, I told you. My back. No, I cut in, my voice breaking. It's not just your back, is it? Please, just be honest with me. Hudson sighed heavily. Some things are better left unsaid. Better left unsaid? I practically yelled. All I've ever done is try to keep this family together. I begged you to take me in when I was 12, and you turned your back on me. Now, on the most important day of my life, you're doing it again. Kiss chimed in from the background, her voice sharp. Annalise, this isn't fair. You don't understand everything Hudson's been through. He has his own family to think about. His own family? I snapped. I am his family. Or at least, I thought I was. Hudson muttered something under his breath, and then the line went dead. He hung up on me. I collapsed on the couch, shaking, while Denver rubbed my back and tried to calm me down. My phone buzzed a few minutes later, a text from Cuss. Don't call again. You're causing unnecessary drama before your wedding. Focus on your day. Unnecessary drama. I wanted to scream. They were the ones abandoning me, and somehow I'm the problem. Last night, Denver's sister called. She could tell I'd been crying, even though I tried to hide it. When I explained what happened, she was furious on my behalf. You don't deserve this, Annalise, she said firmly. On your wedding day, look around you. See the people who chose to show up. That's your family now. I know she's right. I didn't think this week could get worse, but today completely shattered me in ways I didn't expect. I woke up this morning to the sound of my phone buzzing on the nightstand. For a brief second, my heart leapt. A small, foolish part of me hoped it was my grandmother or even Hudson finally changing their mind and saying they were coming to the wedding. But when I reached for my phone, my breath caught in my throat. It wasn't a message to me. It was a Facebook notification. My cousin, Avery Kate, the same cousin who had sent me the cold "sorry, I won't be able to make it" text, had posted a series of photos from a big family dinner they had last night. I opened the album with trembling fingers. There they were. Hudson, his wife Cuss, my grandmother, and even some relatives I barely recognized because I hadn't seen them since I was a child. All of them sitting around a long table, plates full of food, drinks raised, smiles on their faces, laughing, celebrating, looking completely healthy, happy, and obviously mobile enough to drive to a restaurant, sit for hours, and take group photos. It felt like someone had ripped the air out of my lungs. The timing couldn't have been more painful. 2 days before my wedding, the very people who told me they couldn't come because they were too busy or because of Hudson's supposed back issues were out having a great time together. I sat there frozen, staring at my phone as tears blurred my vision. Denver walked into the room holding 2 cups of coffee. Morning, love, he said softly, then paused when he saw my face. Annalise, what's wrong? I couldn't even answer. I just handed him my phone. His jaw tightened as he scrolled through the photos. When he looked up, his eyes were dark with anger. They didn't just have other plans, he said quietly, his voice trembling. They chose not to be here. That's deliberate. Hearing him say it out loud broke something inside me. I burst into tears, sobbing so hard my chest ached. Denver set the coffee down and wrapped me in his arms, rubbing slow circles on my back. I'm so sorry, Annalise, he whispered into my hair. I know this hurts, but please, don't let them take away your joy. They don't deserve that power. But I couldn't stop crying. The betrayal cut too deep. I had spent my whole life trying to keep those fragile family ties intact, and now I had undeniable proof that they never cared, not even enough to hide their rejection. Later that afternoon, something unexpected happened. My phone rang. When I saw my grandmother's name flash across the screen, my stomach flipped. She hadn't called me in over a year. With shaky hands, I answered. Grandma. My voice cracked. Hello, sweetheart, she said gently, her voice unusually soft. She started off with small talk, asking about wedding preparations and the weather, but I couldn't do it. I cut straight to the point. Grandma, are you coming to the wedding? I asked bluntly. There was a long, heavy pause. Finally, she sighed. No, sweetheart. I can't leave Hudson right now. He needs me. My hands clenched around the phone. I forced myself to stay calm. I saw the photos, Grandma, I said, my voice shaking. You went out to dinner last night. You're not stuck at home taking care of him. Another pause. This one felt even heavier, like she was debating whether to tell me the truth. When she finally spoke, her voice was quieter. Annalise, it's complicated. Hudson doesn't feel comfortable attending. Some of the family still doesn't understand your life choices. My heart dropped. My life choices. I whispered. You mean me marrying Denver? She didn't answer immediately. Then she sighed again, this time sounding tired and old. I love you, Annalise. You know I do. But not everyone sees things the same way. Hudson, he thinks it's best if we keep our distance for now. He doesn't want to make a scene. It was like being punched in the gut. After everything, years of trying to stay connected, sending holiday cards, visiting when I could, inviting them to the most important day of my life. This was the truth. They weren't too busy. They weren't too sick. They were ashamed of me. My chest tightened, and I could barely get the words out. You had a chance to show up for me, just once, I said, my voice trembling with rage and heartbreak. And you didn't. Before she could respond, I hung up. Denver found me sitting on the porch, staring blankly at the ground. He sat beside me, his arm wrapping around my shoulders. What happened? He asked softly. I told him everything. For a long moment, he didn't speak. Then he said firmly, "You don't owe them any more pieces of yourself, Annalise. They've shown you who they are. We'll go into that wedding surrounded by the people who actually love us." I wanted to believe him, but the ache inside me wouldn't let go. As the day went on, things escalated even further. A group text popped up on my phone, started by Avery Kate. It included me, Hudson, Cuss, and my grandmother. Avery Kate's message read, "Annalise, we saw that you were upset about the photos. It wasn't meant to hurt you. Please don't bring this drama into your wedding day." I stared at it, stunned. Drama? They humiliated me, abandoned me, and now they wanted to police my reaction? Before I could reply, Cuss chimed in. "This isn't the time for conflict. You should focus on Denver and the wedding. We've made our decision. Please respect it. Respect it. Respect the fact that they'd rather be at a family dinner than my wedding. Respect their rejection of me." My hands were shaking so hard I could barely type, but I sent one final message. "You've made your choice. Don't ever contact me again unless you're ready to take responsibility for the years of pain you've caused." Then I left the group chat and blocked their numbers. That evening, Denver's mom arrived. When she saw my tear-streaked face, she pulled me into the warmest, most genuine hug I've ever felt. She didn't need an explanation. She just whispered, "I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the life you're building with my son. You are family to me." I nearly collapsed into sobs again, but this time, they were tears of relief. For the first time all day, I felt seen. Tomorrow, Denver and I will rehearse for the ceremony. It will be smaller than I imagined. No Hudson, no Cuss, no Avery Kate, no grandmother sitting proudly in the front row. But maybe that's a blessing. Maybe those empty chairs will be a reminder that love isn't about bloodlines. It's about who chooses to stand beside you. I've decided to block all of them for now. If they couldn't stand beside me when it mattered most, they don't deserve to share in the joy Denver and I are creating. It hurts more than I can put into words, but at least now I know where I stand. As for my family, I'm done chasing ghosts. This time, I'm choosing myself and the people who truly love me. You are not the AITA here. The evidence is consistent. You extended invitations, you maintained contact over the years, you showed patience, and you were willing to forgive past absences. In return, your relatives gave you rejection, excuses, and eventually, dishonesty. Their dinner gathering, posted online for all to see, directly contradicted their supposed inability to attend your wedding. That act alone reveals that their absence is deliberate, not circumstantial. By definition, betrayal of that kind is not about your worth. It's about their priorities. My insight, abandonment often masquerades as practicality. "My back hurts, and he needs me," are not reasons. They are shields to disguise discomfort with your choices or indifference toward your happiness. They withheld honesty until pressed, then cloaked their rejection under the vague umbrella of life choices. That phrase is not neutral. It's judgment disguised as politeness. Suggestion: stop analyzing what you could have done differently. Closure will not come from asking why they failed to love you. Closure will come from acknowledging that their version of family was never equipped to meet you with respect. Redirect your loyalty toward those who stand up when it counts. Denver, his parents, his sister. They have already demonstrated that family can be chosen, not inherited. Humor can soften even the sharpest sting, so let's frame it this way. You could have walked down the aisle tomorrow with cardboard cutouts of Hudson, Cuss, Avery Kate, and your grandmother, and they still would have had more presence at your ceremony than they've ever shown in your actual life. At least the cardboard wouldn't make excuses about back pain while sneaking off to restaurants. To the judgment, you are not the AITA for grieving their absence, nor are you the AITA for cutting ties. The only way you would veer into AITA territory is if you retaliated with cruelty or tried to ruin their reputations publicly. But what you did, blocking them, setting boundaries, refusing to tolerate further manipulation, is not cruelty. It's self-preservation. Their group chat accusation that you were bringing drama reveals projection. They created the wound, then resented you for bleeding. To not internalize that blame is the wisest choice you can make. My final perspective: you are not the AITA. You are a person who extended grace, received rejection, and finally chose to protect your own dignity. They, on the other hand, are guilty of abandonment, deception, and cowardice. If tomorrow your wedding feels smaller, it will not be emptier, it will be freer. Those who sit with you, even if fewer in number, will be genuine. And that authenticity is worth infinitely more than chairs filled by people who came only out of obligation. Before we jump into the next story, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know your favorite part in the comments.
Ada for feeling hurt that my boyfriend wants to take his friend to the dance instead of me? My name is Bristol, and I'm 17. In just 2 weeks, my school will be holding its spring formal. It's something I've been dreaming about for years, imagining the perfect dress, the music, the excitement, the laughter. Last year, I didn't get to go because I was stuck at home with pneumonia, coughing and shivering, watching other students post pictures of their nights online. I swore to myself then that I would make this year different. This year was supposed to be mine, my one chance before graduation to have that memory etched into my life forever. I've been dating my boyfriend, Jace, for almost a year. He's 16, a junior, and so technically, he has another chance to go next year. But for me, this is it. I've been looking forward to this night, planning it in my head since freshman year. We've been talking about our plans for months. I bought my dress weeks ago. I even spent hours scrolling through makeup tutorials, practicing hairstyles, thinking about every detail. Jace kept telling me he couldn't wait to see me in it, and his excitement made my own heart race. Then, last weekend, everything changed. He asked me to sit with him after school, in that quiet corner near the lockers where nobody could hear us. He seemed nervous. I could see the worry on his face, the hesitation in his hands. And then he said the words that sent my stomach twisting into knots. He asked if I would be okay with him taking Marie, his best friend since middle school, to the dance instead. I froze. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I stared at him, trying to make sense of what he'd just said. Marie had always been nice to me, friendly, polite, warm. I had never had any problem with her. She had a boyfriend until recently, so I never thought of her as a threat. But now, suddenly, it felt like the ground had been pulled out from under me. He explained, softly, that Marie and her boyfriend had broken up 3 weeks ago, and she had been devastated. He said she hadn't been eating properly, hadn't been seeing anyone, and he felt like it would mean the world to her if he went to the dance with her. He told me he thought I could just go with my friends instead. I tried to stay calm. I tried to reason with myself, but I felt tears prick my eyes immediately. My friends already had dates. Some of them were going with each other. A few had even made plans for months with people I didn't know. If Jace went with Marie, I might not go at all. I would be left out, standing on the sidelines, watching from a distance, missing the one night I had been waiting for years. I told him exactly that. I told him how much it hurt me, how I had imagined this moment for so long, how it was my last chance to have this memory with him. He listened, nodding, his expression pained, but when he spoke, it crushed me. He said Marie had been in his life longer than I had, and he felt he owed her. I couldn't believe it. My heart sank. I felt invisible, like my feelings didn't matter, like all the care and love I had given to him over the past year didn't count. I felt small, betrayed. My chest ached, my throat tightened. I wanted to scream, to shake him and make him understand, but instead, I just felt the hot sting of tears pressing against my eyelids. I tried to hold it together as he talked, but the words blurred together. I couldn't hear him clearly anymore. My thoughts swirled. He's choosing her over me. He's abandoning me on the night I've been dreaming about since freshman year. He's prioritizing someone else, someone he barely even knows how I feel about, over our relationship. Part of me wanted to understand. Part of me knew he probably thought he was doing the right thing. But another part of me, that part was screaming in anger, betrayal, and heartbreak. I couldn't reconcile the two. How could he not see what he was doing to me? How could he not see that this was my one chance, my one moment? Then came the guilt. The crushing, suffocating guilt. Am I being selfish? Am I overreacting? Maybe he's right. Maybe Marie really needs him. Maybe I should just let this go. But the anger would not fade. It bubbled underneath my skin, igniting every time I thought about him smiling at her, holding her hand, picking her up in that perfect, imagined dance. I tried talking to my friends. I told them everything, hoping for advice, hoping for someone to tell me I wasn't wrong to feel hurt, to feel abandoned. But their words only made it worse. Just let it go, one said. It's not a big deal. It's just a dance. Another said, he's your boyfriend. Don't make him feel guilty. And I realized no one could really understand. They hadn't planned every detail of this dance in their head for months. They hadn't dreamed about it as my last chance. They didn't feel the way I felt. I confronted Jace again, standing in the empty hallway after lunch. My hands shook, my voice cracked. Do you even care what this feels like for me? I asked. Do you even care that this is my one chance to have this night with you? He looked away. His silence was unbearable. I wanted to shake him, demand that he look at me, demand that he see the pain he was causing. Instead, I felt my knees weaken and tears spill freely down my cheeks. I felt a rage I hadn't felt before, sharp and bitter and consuming. He tried to speak, but I cut him off. No, you can't explain this. You made your choice the moment you suggested it. You're choosing her. You're choosing her over me, over everything we've shared, over this one night I've been dreaming about my entire life. He said softly, I'm trying to do what's right for her. That's not your choice to make, I shouted. This is about me. This is about us. And you don't even care. The hallway felt smaller, the walls pressing in. Other students passed, some glancing curiously, but I barely barely noticed them. My world had narrowed to the ache in my chest and the betrayal in my heart. I left him there. I stormed out, needing air, needing space, needing to make sense of the mess of feelings that threatened to swallow me whole. Outside, the wind hit my face, sharp and cold, and I took deep, shuddering breaths. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. I wanted someone to make him understand, to make him see the pain he had caused. For the next 2 days, I felt like I was unraveling. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't focus in class. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped, hoping it was him, hoping it was an explanation, hoping it was an apology. But it never was. And I realized, finally, that maybe it wouldn't come at all. Everything fell apart faster than I ever imagined. 2 nights ago, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw a photo that made my stomach drop. It was Marie, posting a picture of a corsage and her formal dress with the caption, "Couldn't have asked for a better date," and she tagged Jace. I froze. My hands trembled. My chest tightened as though someone had pressed down on it with a weight I couldn't lift. I hadn't even received a text from him. Not a word. No explanation. Nothing. I immediately called Jace. My voice shook so badly I could barely form words. Why? Why are you letting her post about this before even talking to me? I asked, trying to keep my tone controlled, but I knew the breaking edge of panic was visible. He answered, hesitant, almost apologetic. He said he had already agreed to take her days ago, but didn't know how to tell me. My heart sank deeper. So, you were just going to let me find out online? I asked, my voice cracking. He tried to explain. I didn't want to hurt you, Bristol. I thought I was protecting you. I didn't know how to say it, but his words only fueled my anger. Protect me? By letting me find out from social media like I'm some stranger? By making me feel invisible? He admitted Marie had been texting him nonstop. She said it would mean the world to her if he went, that she was falling apart after the breakup, and he didn't know how to say no without feeling like a bad friend. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Bad friend? What about me? What about my last chance at this night? I felt rage and despair twisting inside me, turning every thought into fire and ice at the same time. The next day at school, things got worse. A mutual friend cornered me in the hallway, voice hushed but urgent. Bristol, Marie's been telling people that Jace is basically her date now. She doesn't want you at the group dinner before the dance. She's making it clear that it's just her and him. My stomach turned over. I felt like someone had ripped my heart out and was twisting it in their hands. The betrayal stung worse than I thought possible. I wanted to scream, to shake someone, anyone, just to make them see the way I felt. I confronted Jace after school. It was loud, it was messy, and it was raw. My voice shook, my hands gestured wildly. Do you even hear yourself? Do you even see me? I'm your girlfriend. I'm supposed to be the one by your side. This is my senior year. I don't have another chance at this. He just stood there, silent, and I felt my anger rise higher, hotter. I couldn't believe the calmness in his expression, like he thought my fury was irrational. Finally, he said softly, almost too softly, I didn't mean for this to get out of hand, but I can't back out now. Marie's counting on me. That sentence hit me like a punch to the gut. The realization was cruel and sharp. He had already chosen her. He had made his decision, and there was nothing I could do to change it. I walked away without another word. That night, shaking, exhausted, and heartbroken, I blocked both Jace and Marie on all social media platforms. My phone buzzed constantly, texts, messages, notifications, but I didn't read them. I couldn't. I didn't want to. Every buzz felt like a knife twisting deeper. The next morning, I woke up to a message from an unfamiliar number. My hands froze as I read it. It was Wesson, Marie's ex-boyfriend. He said he had been watching what was happening and thought I deserved to know the truth. Marie's breakup wasn't as devastating as Jace believed. She had been talking to someone new for weeks and had only wanted Jace to take her to the dance to make Wesson jealous. My hands went cold. My chest tightened even more. I felt sick, betrayed, and foolish all at once. I unblocked Jace just long enough to send him screenshots of Wesson's messages. A few minutes later, he called, panicked, voice shaking. He admitted it was true. Marie had been using him. He begged me to forgive him, saying he'd been blind to her manipulation and hadn't meant to hurt me. But something inside me had shifted. The pain had turned into clarity. I said, calm but firm, even if she tricked you, you still chose to lie to me. You chose to hurt me. That's not something I can just forgive. That's not how this works. For the next 2 days, I felt like I was carrying a storm inside me. Every corridor in school felt suffocating. Every glance at Jace or Marie or anyone who had been part of the whispers made me feel small and invisible. I realized the night I had imagined for months, even years, was slipping away from me. But I also realized I didn't need him to validate my night. I could create my own experience. On the night of the dance, I went with my cousin Allison and her friends. I wasn't the center of a fairy tale story, and I didn't have a boyfriend to hold my hand, but I laughed. I danced. I let the music carry me and the warmth of friends fill the emptiness that Jace left left behind. There were moments of awkwardness, moments where I felt the sting of betrayal, moments where I wanted to run out and scream. But there were also moments of freedom, moments where I realized my joy didn't need permission from anyone. The next day, Jace showed up at my house with flowers and an apology, a desperate plea for me to forgive him. I didn't open the door. I didn't need to hear it. I didn't need to see the regret on his face. I had already made my choice.
You articulated your hopes early, invested time, money, and emotion, and were transparent with him. He, on the other hand, withheld truth, minimized your feelings, and ultimately allowed another person to commandeer an event that was supposed to be yours and his together. That is not a neutral misstep. It's a choice that communicated where his loyalty leaned. My personal insight: betrayal doesn't always look like obvious cruelty. Sometimes it hides beneath a veneer of kindness towards someone else, like Jace's insistence that he was only trying to help Marie. But altruism that crushes one partner to comfort another is not kindness. It's cowardice dressed up as compassion. What Jace called loyalty to Marie was actually avoidance of conflict, and he let you carry the emotional weight of that cowardice. My suggestion: recognize that what happened isn't about you being too sensitive. It's about you finally drawing a line between support and self-erasure. You were allowed to want that night, to want him by your side, to want the memory you'd been imagining. Desire doesn't make you selfish. It makes you human. Going forward, treat this as a practice in boundary setting. If a partner places another person's request above your agreed-upon commitment, that is a signal, not an accident. Believe it. Now, for some levity, imagine this scenario on a stage. You're there in your carefully chosen dress, waiting for Jace to arrive, and instead of him, a giant cardboard cutout of Marie appears, holding his corsage, smiling like she owns the night. Honestly, the absurdity of it is almost comical, except, of course, it wasn't funny when it was your real heart on the line. That's the irony. If this had been written as a play, the audience would laugh at his blunders, but living through it, the hurt cut deep. Judgment: you are not the AITA for expecting Jace to go with you, for feeling devastated, or for refusing to accept his late-stage apology. The only way you would veer into AITA territory is if you sought to humiliate Marie or Jace publicly, or weaponize the information about her manipulation in a way that caused collateral harm. But what you did, blocking, walking away, reclaiming your night with Allison, was dignified. You did not retaliate with venom. You chose resilience. So, let me be direct. You are not the AITA. Jace, however, proved himself unready for the responsibilities of a committed relationship. And Marie? She weaponized her pain, or her performance of pain, to manipulate both him and you. The tragedy is that you lost a dream. The triumph is that you found clarity about what kind of loyalty you deserve. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got a story to share? Drop it in the comments, and let us know which one was your favorite. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely want to check out AITAH for considering reporting my neighbor's messy property. Click here to watch it now.